The leader of the Senate, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, has lamented the dysfunctionality of the Nigerian police, noting that, as it is, the police was not properly established to succeed in the country. Bamidele, who is vice chairman of the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution, opined that any police structure that did not reflect Nigeria's federal realities would not effectively address the roots of security challenges that we're facing in the Federation. While espousing on the diverse socioeconomic and political forces responsible for the dysfunctionality of the Nigerian police, and reeled out antidotes to the problem of policing in Nigeria, the Senate leader warned against the incessant deployment of the armed forces without compliance with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution. Well, let's now turn to retired Commissioner of Police in the Federal Capital Territory, Lawrence Alobi, on this claim by the Senate leader, Mr. Bamidele, on the need to reform, to reposition the police in order for greater efficiency. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Newsday, Mr. Bamidele.
Thank you very much for having me.
As read in the intro, there's quite a few things that the Senate leader had to say concerning the police. What's your opinion on this, having been a commissioner of police within the Federal Capital Territory?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think my distinguished senator was not speaking based on reality on ground. The Nigerian police force is structured in line with the structure of the country. The IGP is the head of the police force, where the command authority flows to the DIGs, to the AIGs, to Commissioner of Police, area commanders, DPOs, station officers, and so forth, down the structure. And even in terms of that chain of command flows along that same line. The IGP is the head of the Nigerian police force. The DIGs are the one who are there to assist him. The deputize for him. And again, we have this geopolitical structure of the country. The police also structure along this line. For instance, each geopolitical zone is represented at the force headquarters by a deputy inspector general of police. Each geopolitical zone is the southeast, south, north central, and so forth. All the seven geopolitical zones are being represented by a DIG. That DIG is oversee the affairs of that geopolitical zone in terms of policing and law enforcement, and all complaints arising from that zone. And then, of course, we also have zonal AIGs. Zonal AIGs are the one who now take instruction from the DIG and something from the IG2, so that he is saying that the force is not structured in line with the realities of the country. That is not true. That is not a fact that is not true, because the Nigerian police force is presently structured in line with the structure of the country, from the IG, which is the head of the police, the DIGs, and each DIG represent the geopolitical zones of each geography of this country, and each zone is also have zonal AIGs who are also superintending over the commissions of police, who are in charge of the various states, and at the state level, we have area commanders who also have DPOs that they superintend, and then the DPOs have station officers, and so forth. So it is structured along the political structure of the country. So, and this is how the chain of command flow. And even though the Constitution did not actually mention the DIGs and AIGs, the Constitution mentioned the list of 9 constitutions are amended to provide multi for the General Police and the Commissioners of each state. But that structure is there in line as provided under the Police Act. So I don't think the distinguished senator did his homework well to have to say that our police force is not structured in line with the structure of the country.
Now, Mr. Alobi, you might disagree, with the Senate leader on the issue of structure of the Nigeria police force, but I'm sure that you know that a lot of Nigerians would like to see a more efficient Nigeria police force. So I'm wondering, how do we begin to tackle the challenges of police in the country? Senator Bamidele has called for a decentralized police model. So is state police the magic pill that can solve the insecurity crisis in Nigeria?
Yeah, I think I agree with you in terms of this decentralization. That is very, very correct. Most police organizations most developed, even in UK, Canada, the US, they have decentralized police structure, police system. Because now that we have a centralized police system, even it's not too good for the force, for the country, because crime is local. The crimes are conducted at local level, and the local level is actually strengthened and equipped. Then they will fight crime effectively and efficiently. But if they have to wait for authority from the Inspector General of Police to give instruction, then that also hamper efficiency. Because there are some, but if as a commissioner of police of a state, I don't have to wait for the IG to give me instructions. I'm there as a commissioner of police to see and ensure that everything about policing and law enforcement is being done effectively and efficiently. I have to deploy my men, supervise them, give instructions, do operational orders, and also carry out these functions. See, the police is structured in terms of administration, operations, information and intelligence, the ICT, the works department, and so forth. So these are all headed by the DIGs and AIGs. So the point is that, like today, with the issue of state policing have come up so much, and most, like all the 36 governors have endorsed the issue of state police, which I think also agree. Because police, like I said, is crime is local based. And when they have state police, the state police be able to know their manpower need, be able to have the manpower they require. They'll be able to require their operational needs, just equipment and training and so forth. But when the authority now comes from for instance, like budgeting, for instance, if every state police has to budget based on its needs in terms of operational needs, in terms of equipment, in terms of training and so forth, they'll be able to understand. And this budget provided is actually employed in the various areas of need. But if it has maybe the IG has to budget for the commands or budget for the zonal AIGs, it might not actually, and sometimes when it goes to the Senate for approval, the Senate will just say, okay, if you are budgeted for 3 billion, they give you 500 million. In that case, it's not based on need. In that case, the police has budgeted this amount based on the needs in terms of operational requirement, in terms of equipment, in terms of training. Policing today in the 21st century is technically based, technically driven. And like drones, for instance, equipment, for instance, and so forth. And then even also intelligence driven too, because you need to do training. But because of lack of paucity of funds, lack of poor funding, the police cannot effectively train their officers, and equipment they ought to be equipped. And that also empowered operational effectiveness and efficiency. So in terms of the government itself should not only concentrate powers at the federal level, I think this centralized policing should be, even in UK, even the United Kingdom that gave us policing, brought this policing to Nigeria. It is not centralized, you have metropolitan police and so forth. Even in the United States, the same thing. Canada, the same thing. Australia, even in India. So I think we should decentralize our police to move for more effective and efficiency. And again, in terms of training is very, very, very important. Capacity building. For so many years now, the police cannot train. For even recruitment, for instance, for years now, they've not been recruiting. And that affected the manpower required needs of the police. And because of from years now, there's been that crisis between the Police Service Commission and the police, and which is not supposed to be so. They have a common objective, serving the same country, and to serve the Nigerian police force. So I think we should see how to address our problems and solve them based on that sincerity of collaborative effort and cooperation, and see how we can help our country. But like I said, more importantly, I said earlier, training and funding is very, very critical. And then getting police well equipped. The structure is not the problem. The problem is that have the men been empowered? Have the men been demanded to be effective and efficient? And how do you also issue appointing for general police and so forth? Is promotion? Sometimes promotion is based on political consideration, not based on efficiency and effectiveness, not based on merit. So these are things that the force should look at, for instance. And then the police again the politicians have overwhelming influence on the police, and this has negatively affected the police efficiency. So if the police can be separated for the political control, if that would be done, that would be better. Where even the general police takes operational control, he directs. Commissioner of Police will say takes operational control, he directs. But you see some governor will say, oh, you are being controlled. I don't control you, so I don't give you fund and so forth. Commissioners go cap in hand to be begging governors to provide to assist them with motor vehicles and even funding. So I think if the police is being given direct from being funded direct from the main source of funding as done by the government. That proper allocation being directed straight to the command, direct to the commander, and direct to the various departments. In that case, and what it now to do is that the police service can now oversight and see that these funds are usually used. And the IG and other lists of the follow, the DIGs, the other AIGs, the IG, they show that these funds are usually used, and the men are also equipped and trained to ensure that when they are deployed to area of operations, they'll be effective and efficient. But when they are not well equipped, they're not well trained, it is a very big problem for the force, and that's what the force is suffering today, because the force have been deprived of funds for too long in this country.
Mr. Alobi
was the most neglected issue in this country.
Allow me to jump in. I'm glad that you picked up on the next question I was going to ask you, and for the sake of time, maybe I'll gloss over it a little bit. But yes, there is the argument within state police. As much of a silver bullet as it seems that it might be an issue where we're not able to deter and prevent politicians from interfering within the duties of the state police. But I also want to ask you concerning the security challenges that are faced by the country in general. Are they too overwhelming for our police force, our security forces? What role do technology play in these things? And also, how can a police force develop better, be more accountable if there are major issues with accountability on behalf of its own officers? We know that there is, that within the force, there are issues with checking and punishing acts of overstepping, acts of violence, and acts of their position. We know that there are issues with that. But when there's no consequences for some of these erring police officers, how does that move the police security force forward?
Yeah, the issue of return about the overwhelming security challenge in the country. You see, when Mitasine was a threat to this country, the mobile police force were able to tame Mitasine. The military was not much involved. It's immobile. The military also got to play the role. If the police is well funded, well equipped in terms of training, in terms of equipment, in terms of the police can internal security is because the police have been reduced to the background. Because the police have been reduced to the background, that's now other forces are now, for instance, before now, there are a lot of fragmentation of agencies now doing similar function with the police. If you look at this country, if you look at historically, the DSS, the traffic department, all the way, even the prisons and the immigration, they were under the police. They now came and excised them. But then that is okay because they don't be overwhelmed. But even if they now create these various sections now, equip the police to like other departments. The police, this country we are over 120 million Nigerians. But the police is less than 500,000 policemen. How can they cope? The UN says at least 400 to 1 policeman. Look at the ratio. In terms of manpower, we are lacking. In terms of funding, we are lacking. In terms of equipment, we are lacking. In terms of training, we are lacking. What do you expect? You don't expect, but you cannot have effective performance or effective qualitative service delivery. It is a government itself that has not taken a bold stand. And not going to the political ways. Let us equip our police force and train our police force. If you fix the police force, you fix international security of this country. But because the police have been so neglected, and now even the Section 217 says the military should come in aid of the police, but now the military is more or less usurping the function of the police. And that is not too good. So you see, the government should take up a bold stand and say we must equip our police. We must have the best police that the country deserves. But in terms of equipment, in terms of training, you see, like I said, today, 21st century, policing is technology-driven, like drones. Like, see, terrorists, they use a lot of equipment. But we don't have that. We don't have that. Our air wing is not well equipped. Before now, in those days, police used to have workshops, well-equipped workshops, where vehicles can be serviced and maintained. Police have filling stations where they can go and get fuel. They don't exist again. Fuel dump, where anywhere you are in operation, you don't have fuel, you just enter and get your fuel. It doesn't happen. Now, if you want to have fuel, you have to go and queue, and when the crisis is on, you cannot say, you cannot leave, you cannot take action. And again, because in crisis management and crisis response, the time response is very, very, very important. When distress calls are being made, how long does it take a police to respond to such crisis? Because of this inhibition in terms of fueling on their vehicles, vehicle maintenance, then some divisions don't have vehicles at all. My local government, they come and they don't have patrol vehicles. I have to say it without any fear of contradiction. They don't have any police patrol vehicle. How do they respond to a crisis?
Alobi.
The whole local government, they don't have patrol vehicles. That's not good enough.
Now, these are serious issues, that need to be tackled. Mr. Lawrence Alobi, former Commissioner of Police in the FCT, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.